Our next enshrinee is in the category of contributor, and I don't know if there's a better definition than the works that we have all seen on the covers of Sports Illustrated and many other national magazines throughout the last 55 years. Rich Clarkson out of Topeka has won so many awards, including being one of the most 100 influential photographers in this country. As I said, you've seen his covers on Sports Illustrated. He's been at 50 Final Fours of the NCAA men's basketball tournament, shot numerous Olympic events, and we've talked to him. We're going to have an opportunity to bring his display in, to have it on a temporary time at the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame sometime in the future. In the meantime, we're very proud to have with us this evening Rich Clarkson.
Yeah, I thought that was wonderful. Don identified all of those people in that family. I mean, I can't even remember the name of the disease when you can't remember. I'm really honored and appreciative of this honoree, of this award tonight. It's something very special to me because my roots really have been in Kansas for many, many years. Grew up in Lawrence, went to Lawrence High School, went to the University of Kansas, and then worked at Topeka for 23 years. It's unusual for someone to be honored that comes from the world of journalism, and for me it's particularly neat because the other people who have been so honored by this group over the years includes people who were really good friends of mine: Deb Nelson, Bob Henson, Max Falkenstein, who's here tonight. All really neat people, people who did things with great excellence and who I very much enjoy sharing this with. I was nominated by John Martin, who's one of the finest artists in the country. He has done all of the work for this museum for a number of years, and it's so neat to have him involved in this whole thing. But as I've told him over the years, I mean, I think of all the artists in America, he's done a better job of tracing my photographs than anyone else. It may seem odd to you that someone whose journalistic efforts mostly involved the camera, someone being elected to this body, and perhaps I should explain that the camera seems less threatening, perhaps, to the sports establishment than someone who works at a keyboard. But photographs can get you in trouble. Early in my career, as a student at the University of Kansas, I photographed Sparky Stalka, the Missouri basketball coach, as he threw a towel and a fit while playing for the Big 7 lead. Sparky couldn't understand why a KU student would travel all the way to Columbia, Missouri to make pictures, much less take a series of pictures widely published at the time that resulted in considerable criticism directed his way. He even went so far as a few days later to call my home in Lawrence and banned me from any future trips to Brewer Fieldhouse in Missouri. Of course, I relayed that conversation to Ernie Mell, then the sports editor of the Kansas City Star, who then wrote another column about Sparky picking on this young, aspiring photojournalist. More trouble. But it was really KU's year, and a month later, as a freshman who, for some reason, Dr. Allen, the famous Fog Allen, took me on trips with the team as I photographed and wrote the game stories for the Lawrence Journal-World. Thus, I was on the way to the NCAA Finals in Seattle. And the very last seat on that Northwest Airlines plane going to Seattle was next to, yes, Sparky Stalka. "You're Clarkson, aren't you?" he said. And I admitted my identity, at which point he said, "Well, I guess we're just going to have to make the best of this." And as the years went by, he, along with his successor, Norm Stewart, became really good friends. But see, the neat thing about this is the friends that you make in sports are the best of the good things that can happen. In photographing for newspapers in Lawrence and Topeka, magazines like Sports Illustrated, Time, and Life introduced me to some of the best of the best. A good friend, also a journalist, told me the most interesting, honest, and committed people are those found in sports. And he wrote about many of them. We lost that friend earlier this year as David Halberstam was killed in a car accident. And sports lost not just a friend, but an incisive writer who not only saw things we often miss, but held up to all of us the real values and qualities of life found so often in sports. But some of those qualities are becoming harder to find in an era in which indecent amounts of money drive many decisions in athletics, wherein the pros, agents, contracts, and bidding games result in more rules about the business of sport than the rules of the game they play. And where in college athletics, keeping up with the Joneses drives schools to build palaces and reward short-time administrators who raise the most money with lavish offices and amazing salaries. And lifelong distinguished professors often sit at the same desk in the same small office for an entire career, teaching with excellence. The right lessons of sports have some great roots right here in Kansas, and I witnessed many of those. Teachers who went well beyond the X's and O's, including such people as Don Fambro, Dick Harp, Lon Kruger, Monty Johnson, Ernie Barrett, Lamar Hunt, and an amazing chancellor who understood sports very well in its role on the campus, Franklin Murphy. Just a few of the people that I have known and come to respect and really influenced me. Can money and integrity coexist in sports today? For the past 14 years, my company has produced the photography and then the publishing for the Colorado Rockies baseball team. And I would have to tell you today that the leadership, the managers, the coaches, and yes, the players represent, in a professional world, excellence, honesty, doing the right things for the right reasons. Good people. Winners in every sense. So it's time for the World Series. My roots are in Kansas, but this week, Colorado has my attention. Thank you very much.